All right. So a few weeks ago, I posted a video about a book I loved called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. The concept of Stoicism in that book was introduced to me by who I think is the smartest person I've ever met and who has been my advisor, Dr. Eric Beck. And here's another book that he told me to read, and that is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. This is an incredible book. I'm actually listening to it a second time now because I need to commit it to muscle memory. But it's about negotiation, but really it's about how to talk to people, even your spouse, your kids, and it's incredible. And what it really says is when you're trying to negotiate or get something, instead of just taking a hard line and trying to split the difference, just start off by listening and understanding. And that almost always can solve the problem. I just had the opportunity to use this in a situation. I want to tell you about it. So I was at a hotel and we accidentally booked two rooms instead of one. I went to the front desk. They said there's nothing we can do about it. So I started using what I had learned and never split the difference. Number one is I asked to speak to a manager in a calm, late night DJ voice, is what Chris calls it, which is slow, methodical, and downward speaking. The general manager came. I was smiling. I told her the story and said, is there anything we can do? She started off by telling me all the reasons that she couldn't do anything. This is out of her control. Her hands are tied. Once it's in the system, there's nothing they can do. So the first thing you do is listen to them and start off with empathy and mirror what you're hearing her say. Don't necessarily agree with it, but mirror and label what you're hearing her say. So I said, wow, it sounds like you're in a tough bind right here. There's not much that the system allows you to do. You're probably frustrated at this whole thing. And she immediately said the two words you want to hear, which is, that's right. That's what Chris Voss says you want to get them to say, which means you accurately labeled and mirrored their problem. You don't want them to say, you're right, because sometimes they'll do that to get you to stop talking. But she said, that's right. And then after that, I did an accusation audit. I said out loud the things that she might be thinking about me. I said, you're probably thinking that, what are these morons thinking? How did they book two hotel rooms? That's their problem. And how do they believe that they should be able to come to me and try to get money back when they made the mistake? And I totally understand that. And she laughed and said, no, I don't think you're a moron. But she just sort of nodded her head. This is what Chris says, where you want to ask questions that involve them in the problem solving and don't put them on the defensive. So you always start off the calibrated questions with how or what. The word you never start off with is why, because it immediately puts them on the defensive. So I said, how can I help try to solve this problem? How might we solve this? Or what can I do to help here? What can we do to get this resolved? And when you do that, they almost always pause and think, and their whole brain switches to, let me think. Let me try to see if we can solve this. Eventually, they talk about anchoring, where you actually set a request that is probably unreasonable to get them to the point which is reasonable, which is what I asked for. Even if they could remove one night out of the two or something like that, you say, could you remove all of it? And she'll settle on one night. Sometimes you can also offer other things like, could you give me credits to another night stay or something else? So anyways, I was really excited because she gave us all of our money back on the room because I took the time to follow Never Split the Difference. I'm excited about this book. We're actually doing a book club about it with my team in Cincinnati Children's. Let me know if you've read the book. Tell me your thoughts. I'd love to hear the comments below.